Well, this is exciting, guys. Welcome to, this is kind of like, I guess, our introduction to In the Know with Walla Blegay. First of all, I am Sade Dennis, and I'm the program director here at G.U.M Network. And Walla, we are so excited that you are going to be joining us officially here as one of our power people, one of our amazing talent, and we are so excited. And, you know, I know that everybody is going to be like, so excited and empowered, right?
Smiling because it is exhilarating. It is actually, this is a turn of a chapter, and I'm going to talk about that and what I've learned and why I'm ready to bring people in the know and also to join the G.U.M Network.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Absolutely. Well, first of all, guys, if you don't know who Walla is a progressive. This woman right here is truly the people's champion and advocate. You know, the circles that Walla is in, the political scene, the advocacy scene, and really helping people understand the issues that are important to them, the issues that help them keep food on their table, understand how to vote, understand, how to vote, to show them to kind of cut through the fat, because there's so much out here, so much, I don't know, I don't want to call it trickery, but just a lot, it's a lot going on, you know, in this era of this so-called fake news and voter intimidation and redistricting and all these different things that are out here now. It's a little confusing. You know, it's also very overwhelming
it is
nationally. And just in this area, we are here in the DMV, and I'm telling you, it's complicated.
Yes, it is.
You know?
Yes, it is. Well, I went on, it's a journey that's taken me to this point that I want to tell people. I want to bring the knowledge to the community. I was active in the Democratic Party in Maryland for years. Right out of college, I joined Young Democrats. I actually worked for a young delegate who encouraged me to get fully engaged in the community and that there were not young people involved. So I went fully in with Young Democrats, with just getting involved in the party.
Sure.
And then I realized after some time of doing this, really one of the turning points, you called me a progressive, one of the turning points was really when I started practicing law and actually getting to know the political scene in a different way.
Interesting.
They call it, we all call it woke. Well, when you wake up and realize, man, I've been sleeping. Like, I've been involved, but I didn't really know what was happening around me, the purpose. And from my involvement to fighting for criminal justice reform in Maryland through with ACLU, from my involvement in various issues, and including in 2016, I was a big Bernie supporter. And one of the reasons why is because I felt that his message resonated with me, the change, the fact that a lot of the things and concerns that we have in our community, they're not being addressed. Why is that? And what I found is from my involvement in the political system, getting involved in the community, fighting against it, you realize there is another side. There is a force. And why is there a force? And what can we as regular people do about them? I realized that a lot of people really didn't know that there was a force. And frankly, we have gotten to the point that we do not feel that we can make the change in our community.
No, we say force, though. Tell us a little bit more about that. What do you mean by force?
Well, there's interest. There's financial interest.
Okay.
For every political decision they're made, there's somebody that's making money from it.
Wow.
And what we need to ask ourselves is, someone's making money, but who? Because oftentimes the people that make the money don't reveal themselves. They give money to politicians. They get involved in a process to make sure that their voices are heard, and money speaks louder. And while they're doing that, while we're asleep, while we're working, taking care of our families. So what should we do about it? How do we become a voice? I ran against, what would people consider the establishment, as a delegate in the recent elections in Maryland. And that even taught me of just how much money goes into politics.
Wow. And
how we weren't getting that money. We were running against a machine. I mean, it is considered a machine.
Sure.
But it's a machine because years and years of those who have money using it. When money is at stake, people have to do certain things in the right way to make sure that they win in their bets.
And you know what, though? That's amazing because I myself can really relate to that. I mean, you know about the candidates and you know about people that you may see in the community, but understanding the mechanics of everything and why things are the way they are. And it's sobering. Yeah. It really is. And unfortunately you hear just different stories and they sound shocking, but quite frankly, they've been going on for a long time. And I think now, we live in a world where there's more transparency with social media and that kind of thing. And then you realize, and you see all these different kind of forces come together with the media, and like I said, the so-called fake news and all that, and it's a lot of mess. And so we're excited to, have you be able to help us kind of sift through all that mess. Now, a little bit of background about you, and I was sharing this with you before, guys. Wala is Liberian, she is Nigerian, and she's American. And you might say, well, what are you talking about, right? Because obviously we know that most of us have, various backgrounds just with our history here in this country and even abroad. But Wala, tell us a little bit more about your background.
Well, I'm from the Jollof Rice Beltway, right? We're across on the west coast of Africa. My background is very interesting, actually. My great-great-grandfather, who was in the Liberian side, was one of the first. He grew up in a royal family, and because of that, in Liberia, they're indigenous Liberians and they're American Liberians, because those are the African Americans that came back. Understand, the African Americans that came back really did oppress a lot of the indigenous, but then certain people they gave a little more respect, and that was part of my family. But my great-great-grandfather was the first ambassador to one of the West African countries. Before we didn't really reach out and go out, but he was the ambassador in Germany.
Wow.
From Liberia, and he came there actually during the beginning of the Second World War. So he was there during that time, and he became the spokesperson for Liberia, and actually worked with Marcus Garvey and some others. So we have a very rich history, and that's actually where I get some of my activism from. My Liberian side, one of my grandfathers was in Nigeria. I mean, my Nigerian side. He went into Nigeria because he was in the British Army before they were independent. And he met one of my grandmothers there, and they lived there and had my mom. And,
wow.
And so I have both sides, and I bring that because a lot of times I'm very connected with the Liberian side because of the Civil War. Brought a lot of Liberians here. Wow. In fact, one of the biggest projects I worked on was really fighting against making sure that we did not end TPS program. A lot of Liberians came here on TPS because of the Civil War and stayed here for years, taking care of their families. They don't at this point know anything else. Their kids know nothing else. Sure. This is their home. But a lot of them risk every year now. Now this is the year. In 2007, we fought that fight in Congress because we got scared that we didn't want people to get deported. They extended it, but not under Trump's.
Oh my God!
Not under this Trump
Trump administration. It's really frightening because who doesn't know somebody that is somehow in fear of being deported? Unfortunately, I don't. And of course, if you're brown, it's really a frightening prospect.
Right.
And they're going after even naturalized citizens under this whole guise where we want to make sure that they weren't up to anything.
Yeah, and to be honest, it is the war against the black and brown. And we're going to talk about that because there's been a war against us because of what we look like. And they're using we call it pretextual reasons. This is something most lawyers know about, that the real reason is this. But they're saying, because we're trying to patriotism. What they did, what's wrong, it's wrong. It's like, well, if it's wrong, then if the parents did, then, there are people that are offshoots of people who are illegal immigrants, including people that are not black and brown. And we could say what's wrong is wrong and ask you to leave too, but we're not. So, at the end, so there's also this assumption that all black and brown is all together on this.
Right. Oh, okay.
And a lot of people, including people in the African American community, kind of feel like, okay, we come here through slavery. We're trying to get what we can here. Then we got all these other groups coming in, taking what should be considered ours, and now we're being pushed to kind of advocate for them.
You know what? When I hear stuff like that, what's frustrating is that when we see how, unfortunately, the history of our country and the marginalization of Black and brown people, whether you're trying to be deported. I mean, I always look at it like this. African Americans, our history here, we're kind of like a mortgage. You know how those mortgages are like chopped up in so many pieces? Unfortunately, the way they stripped our identities, and that we have so much going on just in our biology and in our background, they can't deport us, so they just arrest you and put you, in prison. And that's why our penitentiary system, from the preschool to prison pipeline is the way it is, because either they'll put you in prison or, unfortunately, with law enforcement, some law enforcement being the way that it is, so that you can't deport, you in prison.
Right.
And so you're looking at these types of things. And I was on Twitter the other day, and I think it was Bree Newsom mentioned that if we don't see a wave globally, unfortunately with this white supremacy, and that it's a global force, and really to connect the dots. So, I mean, again, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power, right? And vote, and elections have consequences.
Right. Right. And we do have, I know they have the ambassador from the African Union who's been in this area often speaking, and she's been digging into African American communities. Her message is that, and I would love to bring her on in the know, because she is an amazing speaker.
Wow.
And what she says is that it is imperative that African Americans work together. The African diaspora needs to unite.
Yes.
Because if it does, it only makes it better for all of us. Because at this point,
absolutely,
while others are seeing it globally, so should we.
Right.
And we should learn that Africans should get to know African Americans, Caribbeans should get to know Africans, and we should all lock in together.
Thank God for Black Panther. How about Black Panther bringing people together? That's powerful. That was really powerful, and I think it really started something.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
Yeah. Well, I think it brought more awareness in our community. But I hope that, because it's dangerous, with sometimes media, we see it and we enjoy it, and then we kind of move on.
Absolutely.
I think that what the ambassador would tell us is that, it's time for investment. If we have all these entrepreneurs in the African American community looking for opportunities, how about you take your opportunity outside of the U.S. and go to Africa and make your investments?
Well, China is. You see, China is making so many inroads. It's just,
I mean, in African countries, they have Asians all over the place making money.
Light rail and
light rail, exactly.
The infrastructure, yeah.
And we're not doing the same. We should do the same. Yeah.
Wow. So, Walla, what can we expect from In the Know with Walla Blegay?
Well, In the Know is going to dig deep into many of the issues as we discussed. But one of the things that we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to ponder on some issues. We're going to interview some people that can bring enlightenment on issues. We're going to go even local to some local communities around the United States and look at some of the issues. And really, we should start asking questions. This is a way for us to stay woke and to really know what's happening in our community and why it's important for us to pay attention. And what you can't believe everything you see,
right? Because
you see the press conference and people saying that. Understand that you have to ask questions, because there is always interest behind every decision made in your community.
Wow. So, guys, this is really, really exciting. It's exciting, and I'm relieved that now we'll be able to really understand these issues and just kind of how to navigate through all of the mess. So guys, oh my gosh, big time. Listen, for more information on In the Know with Walla Blegay, or even the GUM Network, go to www.thegumnetwork.com and then click on featured shows, and you'll see Walla's page as well. And don't be afraid to drop us a line, leave Walla a question. Absolutely, because Walla, you're going to be answering questions.
I will be answering questions, and we want to hear if there are things in your community that you want us to look into, to engage in, to talk about. Let me know.
All right, guys. So we'll see you on the flip side.
See you on the flip side.